Welcome back. If you're over the age of 50, what you're about to hear could completely change the way you think about your evening routine. Every single night, while your house is quiet, while your family is asleep, and while you are resting, your kidneys are wide awake. They never take a night off. In fact, some of their most important work happens while you sleep. They continuously filter your blood, remove waste products, balance fluids, help control your blood pressure, and keep important minerals in the right range. Now here's the part that surprises most people. The last thing you eat before bed can either make that overnight job easier or make your kidneys work even harder. And the frightening part is that millions of people are doing it every night without realizing it. Today, I'm going to show you 6 research-backed fruits that may help support healthy kidney function when enjoyed as part of an overall kidney-friendly diet. These aren't internet myths. They're fruits commonly included in kidney-friendly nutrition guidance because they're naturally rich in antioxidants, relatively lower in potassium than many other fruits, and may help reduce inflammation, one of the factors associated with kidney damage over time. But don't skip ahead, because the last fruit on today's list comes with an important warning that almost nobody talks about. Many people buy it believing they're protecting their kidneys, when in reality, they may be doing exactly the opposite. So stay with me until the end. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where are you watching from, and what time is it where you are? I read as many comments as I can, and it's always amazing to see people joining us from all over the world. And if you're here because you want simple, research-based health advice without confusing medical jargon, consider subscribing. Every week we break down what the science actually says, so you can make informed decisions for yourself and your family. Now, before we talk about the first fruit, there's one simple thing you need to understand. Because once you know this, every fruit on today's list will make a lot more sense. Hashtag why your kidneys work so hard at night. Imagine having 2 silent workers inside your body. They never complain. They never ask for a break. They simply keep working every second of every day. Those workers are your kidneys. Together, they filter roughly 180 to 200 liters of blood every day, removing waste products and extra fluid before returning clean, balanced blood back into your circulation. But here's something most people never hear during a routine doctor's visit. Kidney health isn't only about what you avoid. Yes, too much sodium, too much added sugar, and for some people with advanced kidney disease, too much potassium or phosphorus can all become problems. But that's only half the picture. The other half is giving your body foods that naturally provide antioxidants, fiber, vitamins, and anti-inflammatory compounds that help protect kidney tissue from everyday wear and tear. Think of it this way. If your kidneys are your body's natural water filters, inflammation is like rust slowly building up inside those filters. You can't stop aging. But according to decades of research, your daily food choices can influence oxidative stress and inflammation throughout the body. That's exactly why today's list matters. Not because these fruits are magic. They're not. No single food can cure kidney disease. But choosing healthier foods consistently may help support your kidneys as part of an overall healthy lifestyle. And that's a much more realistic and much more powerful goal. Now, let's begin with the fruit that surprised even many healthcare professionals because of its unique connection with sleep. Fruit number 1, tart cherries. If I had to choose just one fruit that feels almost designed for bedtime, this would probably be it. Most people think cherries are simply a sweet summer snack. But tart cherries are completely different from the sweet cherries most people buy. According to kidney-friendly nutrition guidance, tart cherries are generally lower in potassium than many popular fruits, making them a practical option for many people when eaten in moderate portions. But that's only the beginning. Here's where things become really interesting. Scientists have found that tart cherries naturally contain plant compounds, including small amounts of melatonin along with powerful antioxidants. Why does that matter? Because your kidneys and your sleep are much more connected than most people realize. While you're sleeping, your blood pressure is supposed to fall naturally. Doctors often call this nocturnal dipping. It's one of the ways your body gives your heart and kidneys a chance to recover from the stress of the day. But when sleep is poor, that healthy nighttime drop in blood pressure may not happen as effectively. Over months and years, that extra pressure can place additional stress on the tiny filtering units inside your kidneys. Several studies suggest Tart Cherry products may modestly improve sleep quality in some adults. Will they work for everyone? No. The evidence isn't strong enough to make that claim. But improving sleep habits remains one of the simplest ways to support your overall health, including your kidneys. There's one important warning, though. Before you grab the first bottle of cherry juice you see, turn it around. Read the label. Many cherry juice drinks contain large amounts of added sugar. And too much added sugar has been linked with obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and poorer kidney health over time. If you decide to include tart cherries in your evening routine, choose unsweetened tart cherry juice or whole tart cherries whenever possible. A small serving, about half a cup of cherries or a small glass of unsweetened juice, is generally enough. Because when it comes to kidney health, more isn't always better. Retention loop. Now here's what's fascinating. The next fruit doesn't help because it contains melatonin. It helps because of the pigment that gives it its deep blue color. And researchers have been studying that pigment for years. Let's talk about blueberries. Fruit number 2, blueberries. If there were a competition for the world's most researched superfruit, blueberries would almost certainly be near the top. But here's what makes them especially interesting for kidney health. It's not because they're trendy. It's because of what's inside them. Blueberries are naturally rich in compounds called antioxidants. These are the natural pigments responsible for their deep blue color. Researchers have studied anthocyanins extensively because of their antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Now, why should you care about inflammation? Because chronic inflammation is like a slow-burning fire inside the body. You usually can't feel it. You usually can't see it. But over time, it can contribute to damage in blood vessels, including the tiny blood vessels inside your kidneys. That's one reason health experts consistently encourage diets rich in colorful fruits and vegetables. Blueberries fit that recommendation beautifully. They're also naturally lower in potassium than fruits like bananas and oranges, making them a practical choice for many people with early or moderate kidney disease. However, if your doctor or kidney dietitian has prescribed a strict potassium restriction, your individual serving size still matters. Here's another reason blueberries deserve attention. Your heart and your kidneys work together. When one struggles, the other often follows. Research has consistently linked diets rich in berries with better cardiovascular health, and healthier blood vessels support healthier kidney function. Sometimes the biggest benefits come from simple foods that people overlook. A practical serving? About half a cup of fresh or frozen blueberries after dinner. No expensive supplements. No complicated recipes. Just real food backed by solid nutritional science. Coming up next. The next fruit is one of the sweetest on today's list. Yet it contains less potassium than most people would ever guess. It's colorful, naturally delicious, and it's one of the fruits kidney dietitians recommend most often. Let's talk about strawberries. Hashtag fruit number 3, strawberries. Let's be honest. When most people hear the words kidney-friendly diet, they immediately think of restrictions. Less salt, less flavor, less enjoyment. But strawberries completely change that picture. They're naturally sweet, low in calories, rich in vitamin C, and according to kidney nutrition guidance, they're considered one of the better fruit choices for many people living with chronic kidney disease. But here's what makes strawberries truly special. Every strawberry contains natural antioxidants that help protect your body cells from oxidative stress. Think of oxidative stress as tiny sparks. One spark isn't a problem, but millions of sparks, day after day, year after year, can slowly damage healthy tissues. Your kidneys are no exception. That's one reason researchers continue studying antioxidant-rich foods. Not because they're miracle cures, but because they may help reduce some of that long-term stress on the body. There's another benefit many people overlook. Strawberries are also a good source of dietary fiber. And fiber doesn't just help digestion. It also feeds the healthy bacteria living inside your gut. Over the past several years, scientists have discovered something remarkable. Your gut and your kidneys communicate with each other much more than we once believed. A healthier gut microbiome may help reduce certain inflammatory compounds that circulate through the bloodstream. It's an exciting area of research. And while scientists are still learning exactly how strong that connection is, it's another reason whole fruits continue to outperform sugary processed snacks. A practical serving? About half a cup of fresh or frozen strawberries. Simple, delicious, and naturally satisfying. A story that changed one evening habit. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Margaret. She was 69 years old. Her kidney function wasn't terrible, but it wasn't improving either. She had become so worried about potassium that she'd almost stopped eating fruit altogether. When we reviewed her meals together, something became obvious. She had removed nearly every colorful fruit from her diet, but had replaced them with packaged, low-fat snack bars that were loaded with added sugar. Over the following weeks, with guidance from her healthcare team, she gradually replaced those processed snacks with appropriate portions of kidney-friendly fruits like blueberries and strawberries. Did those fruits cure her kidneys? No, and that's important to say honestly. But they helped her create a healthier evening routine. She slept better. She enjoyed eating again. And perhaps most importantly, she stopped feeling like healthy eating meant giving up everything she loved. Sometimes, the biggest change isn't nutritional. Its psychological. Healthy habits become much easier to maintain when they feel enjoyable instead of restrictive. Retention loop. Now here's a question. If I told you one of the best bedtime fruits for your kidneys has probably been sitting in your kitchen this entire time, would you believe me? Most people don't. Because it's so common. They completely overlook it. Let's talk about apples. Fruit number 4, apples. When people think about superfoods, apples rarely come to mind. They're too familiar, too ordinary, too easy to find. And that's exactly why they're underestimated. But what if one of the smartest bedtime fruit choices has been sitting in your fruit bowl all along? According to kidney nutrition guidance, apples are naturally low in sodium, low in phosphorus, and relatively low in potassium, making them a practical choice for many people with chronic kidney disease. But that's not what impressed researchers the most. It's the fiber, especially if you eat the apple with the peel on. In fact, much of an apple's antioxidant content is found in or just beneath the skin. Peeling it isn't harmful, but you lose a significant amount of the fiber and antioxidant compounds that make apples so beneficial. Now let's talk about something millions of adults over 50 struggle with. Blood sugar. Even if you've never been diagnosed with diabetes, blood sugar naturally becomes harder to regulate as we age. And your kidneys notice. Over time, repeated spikes in blood sugar can damage the tiny blood vessels responsible for filtering your blood. That's why a whole apple makes much more sense than a glass of apple juice. Juice removes most of the fiber. The natural sugars are absorbed much more quickly, but a whole apple slows digestion, helping you stay satisfied while avoiding the rapid rise in blood sugar that processed desserts often cause. Here's another interesting observation. Many people think they need something sugary after dinner. But once they replace cookies or ice cream with a crisp apple sprinkled with a little cinnamon, those cravings often become much easier to manage. Sometimes your body isn't asking for more sugar. It's simply asking for something naturally satisfying. A medium apple, eaten with the peel about 1 to 2 hours before bedtime, is usually enough. Affordable, easy to find, and backed by decades of nutrition research. Coming up next. The next fruit surprises almost everyone. Most people assume it's too sweet to be kidney-friendly. But hidden inside its skin is a natural compound that researchers have studied for years because of its potential benefits for healthy blood vessels. And healthy blood vessels are exactly what your kidneys depend on. Let's talk about red grapes. Fruit number 5. Red grapes. Take a close look at a bunch of red grapes. Most people simply see a sweet snack. Researchers see something much more interesting. They see natural plant compounds like resveratrol and flavonoids, found primarily in the skin of red and purple grapes. These compounds have attracted scientific attention because of their antioxidant properties and their potential role in supporting cardiovascular health. Now, why does that matter for your kidneys? Because healthy kidneys depend on healthy blood vessels. Every single minute, millions of tiny filtering units inside your kidneys are cleaning your blood. Those filters rely on an intricate network of tiny blood vessels to do their job. When those blood vessels become damaged over time, your kidneys have to work much harder. That's one reason doctors often remind patients that kidney health and heart health go hand in hand. Protect one, and you're often helping protect the other. Another advantage of red grapes is that they're generally considered lower in potassium than fruits like bananas and oranges, making them a practical choice for many people following a kidney-friendly eating plan. That doesn't mean unlimited amounts. Portion size still matters. But for many adults, a small handful of red or purple grapes can fit comfortably into an evening snack. Here's a simple trick many people living with fluid restrictions have discovered. Freeze them. Frozen grapes become naturally sweet, refreshing, and take much longer to eat. Instead of drinking a sugary dessert or reaching for candy, you slowly enjoy each grape one at a time. Sometimes the smallest changes become the easiest habits to maintain. Retention loop. Now we've reached the final fruit. And honestly, this is the one that creates the most confusion. Some websites call it a miracle food for kidney health. Others tell people to avoid it completely. So who's right? The answer isn't as simple as you might think. Let's talk about cranberries. Fruit number 6, cranberries, the fruit with the catch. If you've ever searched online for natural ways to support your kidneys, you've probably seen cranberries mentioned again and again. Some people believe they're one of the best foods for kidney health. Others think they're completely unnecessary. The truth lies somewhere in the middle. Cranberries contain natural compounds called proanthocyanidins, often shortened to PACs. Research suggests these compounds may help reduce the risk of recurrent urinary tract infections, UTIs, in some people by making it more difficult for certain bacteria, especially E. coli, to stick to the lining of the urinary tract. But here's the first important warning. Cranberries do not treat an active urinary tract infection or a kidney infection. If you have symptoms like fever, severe back pain, painful urination, or blood in your urine, don't rely on cranberry juice. Those symptoms require medical evaluation and, if necessary, proper treatment. Now here's the second warning, and it's the one most people never hear. Walk into almost any supermarket and pick up a bottle labeled cranberry juice. Then turn it around and read the ingredients. Many of those products aren't pure cranberry juice at all. They're cranberry juice cocktails loaded with added sugar because real cranberries are naturally very tart. And that's a problem. Too much added sugar has been linked to obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and poorer kidney health over time. So someone may think they're making a healthy choice, while unknowingly drinking a beverage that works against their long-term health goals. If you enjoy cranberries, choose 100% unsweetened cranberry juice, or fresh or frozen cranberries in moderate portions whenever possible. And if you're taking warfarin or another blood thinner, talk with your doctor or pharmacist before making cranberry products a daily habit, since they may not be appropriate for everyone. That's why cranberries earn the final place on today's list. Not because they're the best fruit, but because they're the most misunderstood. The biggest mistake most people make. Now that you've seen all 6 fruits, there's one mistake I don't want you to make. Many people immediately go to the grocery store, buy every fruit on the list, and start eating huge bowls every night. Please don't. Kidney health has never been about eating more. It's about eating smarter. Even kidney-friendly fruits contain natural sugars and potassium. If you've been diagnosed with advanced chronic kidney disease, or you've been advised to follow a strict potassium limit, your portion sizes still matter. These fruits are meant to support a healthy eating pattern. They're not a replacement for medication, medical advice, or an individualized meal plan created by your healthcare team. Coming up, before we finish, I'll show you the simple bedtime fruit bowl I'd recommend to a family member. Plus one final message that every adult over 50 needs to hear about protecting their kidneys before it's too late. A simple bedtime routine. So if someone asked me, "Doctor, I don't want to eat 6 different fruits every night. What's the simplest option?" Here's exactly what I'd recommend. Take half a cup of blueberries, 3 or 4 fresh strawberries, half a medium apple, sliced with the peel on, that's it. This simple bowl gives you fiber, vitamin C, natural antioxidants, and satisfying natural sweetness, without the added sugars found in many desserts and processed snacks. You don't need expensive supplements. You don't need trendy detox drinks. And you certainly don't need miracle products advertised online. Sometimes the most powerful habits are also the simplest. One final thought. Your kidneys work for you every minute of every day. They don't ask for attention. They don't ask for appreciation. They simply keep doing their job, quietly, faithfully, day after day. The problem is, kidney disease often develops silently. Many people don't notice anything is wrong until significant damage has already occurred. That's why prevention matters so much. The small choices you make today, the foods you eat, the amount of water you drink, the quality of your sleep, and how well you control your blood pressure and blood sugar. All of these decisions add up over time. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. Because consistency beats perfection every single time. Your action plan. So here's my challenge for you tonight. Instead of reaching for cookies, cake, candy, or ice cream, choose just one of the 6 fruits we talked about today. Not all 6. Just one. Make that your evening habit for the next 7 days. Pay attention to how you feel. Notice whether your late-night cravings become easier to manage. Notice whether you start looking forward to a healthier bedtime routine. Small habits repeated every day often create the biggest long-term results. And if you're living with chronic kidney disease, or you've been given specific dietary restrictions, always discuss any changes with your nephrologist or kidney dietitian so they fit your individual health needs. Before you go, if you found today's video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our weekly evidence-based health videos.